It's Mike Nelson here today with Operation Agent Thrive, and I just wanted to ask one question today. Are you one of those deadbeat dads or moms? I'm going to tell you today, I've got some shocking stats for you about how much longer you have with your parents and with your kids. And probably what you think today is not the reality of what you have left of time spent with them. But before we begin, I'd like to ask for you to hit the notification bell. I'd also like to ask you to subscribe to the channel because we're going to be rolling out a lot of videos in the coming months, and we would like to be able to get that content out to you. So, have you really thought about how many days, not years, but days do you have left to spend with your loved ones? For example, there's a formula that we like to use that's pretty true, right? What industry and research has said is that essentially you have about an average age of somebody to be 80 years old, right? It could be sooner, it could be later, but we're going to use 80 years old as an average. What's the formula? And this is really important to me because you really got to know what the numbers are. I mean, I'm a business owner, so knowing the numbers is critical. A kid in your household, every year that they're at the household up till 18, they stay there about 300 days. You will see them about 300 days out of the year. All right. Once after 18 and they leave the property, if they stay in the city, research says you'll see them about 30 times a year. 30 times out of a year. If they move out of city, like one of my kids, Justin is, I probably will see him 10 times a year. That's what the research says, 10 times a year. Right, so take that and kind of do the calculation. So let me use an example. My dad, I've got what I've calculated 210 times to be able to see him until we no longer are able to see each other. 210 days, not years, 210 days. How did I come up with that? Let's say my dad's 72 years old. Let's say he lives to 80, which is the average age. He lives in the city with me. All right, so let's say we see each other 30 times a year. I guess 80, 72, 8, yeah. So 8 times 30, I would get to see him 240 times. 240 times, if that's the average. If he lives to 80, if he lives not as long as that, I get to see him less. If he lives later, maybe I'll pick up 30, 60, 90, 120 days. So look at it that way. Flip it around for kids. My daughter, as an example, is 16 years old. So really I have spent, 300 times 16 is 8, about 4,800 days with her so far. She's got 2 years left before she turns 18, 2. So basically that's 600 days. Plus, if I'm 49 and run the calculation, that means I've got about 31 years left in me. So if I do the 31 and let's say she stays in the city, because, you better believe I'm going to make her stay in the city that I'm in. So 30 times that 31, we've got about 900 and some days left with her. So think about that. 4,800 days is spent with her. I've got about 900 left with her before my time is probably going away. That's significant. That's very significant. I probably spent over 65, 70% of my time already with her before I pass away. Let that sink in. So what are you going to do about it? That's what I got to know, right? That's what you got to do. So you can identify the problem. You've got to decide what are you going to do about it. So what we try to do is we create accounts, what we'll call accounts, and we try to prioritize those accounts. So for example, account 1 might be my dad. Account 2 might be my wife. Account 3 might be my kids. Sorry, Mom. You're probably up there in the number 1 through 4 slot too. So we would put those buckets together. And of course, maybe making money is important. Going on vacation is important. But the key is to clearly identify those items in priority order and make an intentional plan. For example, what you could do is, hey, Dad, I bought some Colorado Avalanche hockey tickets. I know I'm busy. I know you're busy. But because I bought those tickets, I know that we'll both go to those games. So guess what I just did? I put an intentional plan in place. My kids, same thing, right? We could schedule monthly get-togethers. We could schedule a twice-a-year vacation that everybody gets together, right? That's about being intentional where everybody will step up and do it. So I ask you to take this really seriously because time is of the essence. You do not have that much time. Are you spending all your time at work, or are you finding a good balance to spend that with your wife, your kids, your significant others, whatnot? With that, I would really ask that you put in the comments section here, how many, what family member do you have, and did you do the calculation? So remember, the calculation is use the average age of 80. Use how much time that person has left or you have left. If they stay in town, it's 30 days a year. If they're out of town, that's 10 days a year that you get to see them. Do the formula and see what you come up with and put it down in the comments below.